The first project was designed to get us acquainted with building not only synthesizers, but also interactive user interfaces to control them, all with SuperCollider code. I tried to incorporate as many different controllable elements into my synths as possible to create a complex and interesting interface. Many of the synths have similar elements like filter cutoff, frequency, and pan, but some have their own parameters like frequency modulation or reverb depth or an oscillator switcher. In just under 1,200 lines of code, I create the synthesizers, the complex interface to control them, and all the actions of every knob, button, and slider that exists in the interface. The second project was focused around pattern generators, known as PBinds in SuperCollider. There are variations like P-Mono, P-Arctic, and others, but they all do essentially the same thing. Create a stream of information. I kept organization in mind while building this interface, using mostly identical parameters and keeping the controls color-coded, which makes the interface much simpler to use. Using the 4-channel panning and the multiple controls of the sound effects and the musical elements, you can create a sci-fi soundscape with some considerable depth. The code for this boils down to 1,000 lines, nearly 200 less than the previous project, but with similar capability for control. Hooking up a Midi controller to a synthesizer in SuperCollider is a little bit trickier than building an interface for it. With this project, I created a highly interactive synthesizer, which utilizes an octave of drum samples, an octave of drum patterns, 2 octaves of a bass synth, and 2 octaves of a lead synth. It also incorporates reroutable effects buses and a fully parametric EQ. Each synth has 4 controllable parameters, filter cutoff, pan, and busing being common to all of them. Each synth also has their own parameter that you can control, like timbre for the bass or downsampling for the drums. The incorporation of a Midi controller made lots of little complications come up. But after a few hours of trial and error and a considerable amount of debugging, I got it working correctly. This program contains 825 lines of code, making it the smallest yet the most functional project of the 3.